kids, sports is tradition. Sports is passion. Sports is Sports is fun. Welcome to our house. This is Southeast Sports Plus Live with Simone Eli and Gerhard Mathangani.
It's Hump Day. Welcome in, everybody. Southeast Sports Plus, Simone, Gerhard, Patrick joining you on this Wednesday. And if you watched the show a couple of days ago, we knew that the Senior Bowl was going to officially release their top 300. The new executive director, Drew Fabianich, gave us a little bit of a teaser, Gerhard, and we were trying to get some information out of him. He said, I'm not talking about nothing until Wednesday.
Served you up like a delicious appetizer.
Yes.
And then you try to get a little thing off the top, like a name or two off the top. He said,
I tried.
No.
But
Gotta
we've
wait
got
till
us some
Wednesday.
names.
Yeah.
But we've got us some names now, and we've got the man with the plan joining the show as well, Drew Fabianich. Welcome in. Appreciate your time, sir. I know that you're joining us from right up the road here in Mobile. Good afternoon, number one. And what's today been like for you? Because I know this is like media stop number 25 for you.
No, it's actually not. It's not been that bad today. I've kind of spaced them out a little bit. It wasn't like the Panini kickoff. I mean, that was painful that day.
Yeah.
But no, it's been good. It's been good. So now, again, like I told you before, I mean, when you saw the list, there is no order in the list.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sure.
It is not, the top down. It's not the first quarterback. It's not the last quarterback. It's just all the quarterbacks listed. Because again, I don't want to give away my board, to other games.
Right.
Yes.
Right. I think one of the things that's really interesting in the press release that you sent out, or your team sent out, the words "first ever" were on there. How important was it for you to come out of the gate and say right before the college football season, these are the guys we're looking at, and this is the reason why?
Yeah, I think it was really important, because again, Jim did a great job. Phil Savage did a great job before, but I wanted to put a little different twist on this, just because I wanted this to be very selective. And, and I just talked to a person up at Auburn, and he says, I explained to these guys that this is an honor just to be on this list, let alone, getting the invite. He said, because now it's just 300 of the best players in the country. It's not 850, it's not 900. It's become a very valuable tool for us because, again, you're showing some of the graphics that schools have put out.
Those are pretty cool.
Some
So we
of them
snagged some of those. Yeah, they're really
some of them
cool.
are fantastic. And I love the ones that they used a Panini card too on those. Process to where this is an honor because it is the best against the best.
Yeah, it's always neat to see teams really fully buy in because they know the value that comes from being considered one of the best of the best. They always see the graphics every single year for the invites, for the top however many, and so 300 this year, as we know, more than 100 coming from the Southeastern Conference. So we went and found some of the cool teams that put some things out. LSU with the most of anybody on the board there. Drew, tell us about the Bayou Bengals.
Well, I mean, again, if you've got 14 players that, we consider, put it this way, anybody that's on our 300, we consider to be draftable.
Yeah.
And so if you've got 14 draftable players on your roster that are playing, you should compete for a playoff spot. I mean, that's bottom line. I mean, it's just like when you look back at Alabama, how many pro players did they have on the field at one time, and did they compete for national championships? No different at Georgia. And again, Ohio State probably had 13, 14 guys last year, right?
Yep.
Well, they graduated most of them. So that's why they've only got probably, I think it's around 6. I think they got at Ohio State or something like that. So yeah, the LSU should be in the talk. I mean, in the conversation about getting into the playoffs. They should.
Yeah, Drew, I know that the quarterbacks always where the fans' eyes are, and here's a look at some of the guys that you have on the top 300. So, of course, the guys coming from the SEC. Take a look at some of these names as well. Break down this quarterback class of who you have, who your eyes on, and then who could ultimately be a part of the party come February.
Well, and again, we've got 24 quarterbacks on the list, and we're only going to take 8. And I mean 8 at most. It usually was 7, but we'll probably put 10 invitations out there. And these guys are going to have to separate themselves throughout the year because this is going to be just like a vertical board in a draft room. If we've got the top 8, ready to pick out, those guys are going to be invited. Well, if we know that 2 of them, are going to go back or they're not going to play, then we're just going to move up, from 11 and 12 and move those up and push the board up, because again, it's just like recruiting. It's just like scouting. And again, there's some I'm very impressed with. I don't like talking about, 4 or 5 of them, because then the other, 18 of them are going to be, go, why didn't he talk about me? Just like when I was down at the Manning Academy, I posted 3 posts with guys that I knew, but I knew Garrett. I mean, I've known, Cade for a long time too. So it's like,
right.
The reason why I put those guys on there is because I had a personal relationship with them. And now, do I offend the other 40? There was 43 quarterbacks there, so I offended the other 40 for not posting about them. So that's why I really don't like to tell you who my favorites are.
Sure.
Right.
But I mean, there's some that are, surprise me, both good and bad. I expected some to be better. I expected some to be, kind of average, and they kind of surprised me a little bit.
Yep.
I let it out of the bag on NFL Network before. I like Fernando Mendoza. I do. And I think he's going to have a very good year at Indiana.
Absolutely. And honestly, Kirk Zanetti's a great quarterback coach as well. Michael Penix Jr. Was one of the quarterbacks there in Indiana for a little bit. When you go to narrow this list down, because obviously it's a large list, you're bringing just south, I think, of 150 to Mobile. There's 300 on here. As you narrow down that list, when it comes to quarterbacks and other positions, what are the things that you are looking for? And then some of the guys that are outside of this 300, because that's one of the things you talked about a couple of days ago as well, that guys can play their way on there. What are some of the differences and the characteristics that guys will have to show to stay on this list and get the invite to Mobile, and the guys that are not on the list to be able to do so?
I'm still going to, as I stack the positions, we're going to watch them all together, all at the same time, right before the invites. And what we're going to try to do is we're still going to take, like just with the quarterbacks, we're going to take the 8 best that we still have out there. We're going to take 16 wide receivers. We're going to take 13 tackles. We're going to take 14 guards and centers. I mean, so we're going to try to make those the highest draftable players that we can find. And again, it depends on, some of them may go back. Some of them, are draft eligible that they're going to stay in college. So we've got to we just got to be ready to move down the board if those guys are not coming out or they decide not to play. So I don't know if I answered that question soundly, but that's what we have to do. And what I'm looking for is production, right? And, which ones are actually better than the others? Because that's what we're going to watch them back to back.
Yeah.
Is this guy really better than this one?
Yeah.
Yes, he is. Then that's the guy we want to invite.
Drew, when it comes to just the balancing of hats that you kind of have to have, the scout in you is why you're so perfect for this job. You're also incredibly personable. We've had the chance to meet you on several occasions, of course, in person, have you on the show several times. How do you prioritize? Do you prioritize, or do you just simply have to balance the scouting aspect of getting the best guys and I'm not going to say the guys that you got to throw out there to make fans happy or to put people in the stands, but is that something that you kind of the PC part of it too? Is that something that you have to look at as you navigate attendance, as you navigate what the roster looks like? And if not, that's fine too. There's no right or wrong answer. Just curious what that looks like for you as the new executive director of the game.
Well, I think it's important. If locals are good enough to play in this game, they should be in this game.
Yep.
Bottom line. Because the local people want to see the kids they saw growing up, playing middle school and high school football here. Yeah. And I get that. And if they're better than another player, they will be in this game. Bottom line. Yep. Simone, I try to watch whenever I can. I mean, it's like if there's 4 texts, 14, 15 agents already today, 2 coaches, 2 head coach.
Yep.
And again, I got to watch 3 players today.
Yeah.
Total.
Yeah.
But I'm blessed because like I said, they had 250 players already graded before I even walked in the door.
Yep.
I mean, Jack Gilmore, Jackson Roby, Michael Newsom, they did their job, and they're continuing to do their job. And again, that's what I like to call it, a watch list, because it's not. We do the watch list. We're watching everybody.
Yep.
And if they're productive, well, guess what? They don't have to be on this list to play into the game. They don't to get an invite. So, like I said, yes, I like to watch, but it's only when I have time to do it.
Yeah.
Which sometimes I don't have the time.
Yeah.
Right. And your team spreads far and wide. Tell us a little bit about the the scouts that go out on the road and what they're looking for and some of the ways that they're able to execute their job so they can bring you the information for you to parse for the guys that will be here in February?
Well, these are the guys that are going to be treated like area scouts in the NFL. What they're going to do is they're not necessarily going to go do a school visit unless they want to, because we can't afford to put guys out on the road for weeks at a time. They're going to be doing a lot of tape work, and they're going to grade, the same players that we've already graded. And it's great to get, a cross check on players that we have. And they're also going to be going to games that they deem valuable to them, because they only have a certain group of players that they're looking at. Each one's going to have around 80 players to 100 players to grade.
Yeah, wow.
And there's 10 of them out there. Yeah, there's 10 of them that are out there. And they're the cross checks for us. And we're the cross checks for them, because it's not about whether I like them, it's whether we like them.
Yeah.
And for us to have them an invite, we have to like them.
Yeah.
Because I'm not going to overrule everybody just because I think I'm right, because I've been wrong before.
Sure.
And I'll be wrong again.
Yeah.
So,
I think it's a
but
sign
when
of
you
a
have,
good leader.
yeah, go ahead. I'm sorry, Simone.
I think it's a good sign of a good leader to make it a collaborative approach. Obviously, I mean, you're the guy in charge, and there's a reason that you're sitting in the chair, and deservedly so. But I mean, I love that approach as a leader. And when you look at this list and some of the names that are on this list, Drew. As we mentioned, the SEC, 109, the Big Ten, 68, the ACC, 53, 43 guys from the Big 12. Group of 5 has a handful as well. Is there anybody on there that is a sleeper pick? Somebody who maybe wouldn't be somebody that catches all the headlines, but you're like, hey, when I watch him on tape, I know that this is the guy.
No, I don't know so much that I know the guy, but I mean, I don't think there's been a lot of people that's seen the quarterback at Harvard play. And he wouldn't be on the list unless I thought he was draftable.
Yeah.
So, again, that's the type. And again, will there be sleepers? There'll be guys that surface because of performance, sure.
Yep.
But off of this list, I think it's the ones that are kind of the under the radar guys that people don't see on a regular basis, whether it's a Western Kentucky, whether it's a Harvard,
Yep.
I mean, or whether it's a Navy.
Yep.
I mean, that's, and again, I think that the word sleeper, I think, is kind of overused now, because
might be the right one.
the NFL is going to find you. If you're good enough, the NFL finds you.
You're right, yeah.
And guess what? Just through word of mouth, just through people talking, just because of agents. I mean, an agent turned me on to a long snapper today. And I was like, yeah, he's real.
I like
And guess what? He wasn't on the 300, because I really wasn't going to put a long snapper on the 300. But he's on the board for the game now.
Yep.
Now, is he going to be in the top 2? I don't know that.
Sure.
Yet, because I hadn't looked at them all. So, and again, I didn't mean to kind of throw the word sleeper under the bus.
No,
but,
that's yeah. No, I get it, and you're right. And I'm not even sure that was the right word, but underdogs. So
Sure.
just kind of the unsung hero types that we aren't really maybe.
I think it's more like less recognized.
Yeah.
Right.
Or
Sure.
they don't have the recognition because they're not at Auburn.
Sure.
They're at Harvard.
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah.
That's the thing. I mean, and I also took some guys off of the list that were juniors that didn't quite make it on a first or second day, grade.
Sure.
Because, like I told you before, I didn't want to, make the head coaches mad by putting them on there and them thinking that they were a little bit better than what they were.
Right.
And then they go, oh, I want to leave. Well, then the head coach gets mad at me, because I put the guy on the list. So, but then it's kind of a double-edged sword, because I took one off and he goes, oh, you could have put him on. And I was like, well, I didn't put the running back on. He goes, well, I'm glad you didn't do that. I was like,
listen, man, you ain't the coach. You can't be inside everyone's locker room for the love of the Lord. You can't be listen. The one guy has a bad practice, they just want to have recognition because of his ego or some, whatever.
Yeah.
Drew, I'm curious about your off-the-field evaluation, because as we talk about all the time with these guys, it's not just always about what you do on the field. It's about your character off the field as well. How much will you rely on the college coaches and maybe people in and around those schools and those campuses to say, hey, this guy is keeping his nose clean and he's a good player, or he is maybe not keeping his nose clean, and whether he's a great player, you take him off your board, or maybe not as talented of a player, but just an excellent character guy? Because I know that it matters to NFL teams. How much does it matter for you and your squad?
It matters because it's important to every NFL team. The cleaner the prospect, the better.
Yeah.
And, now sometimes, you hear, and again, I'll go way back, there's a tight end that I know left the school for a reason and has performed well at his new school. and supposedly has changed his character, right? And again, I'm pretty sure that the NFL teams are going to want to talk to him about the reasons why he left his previous school.
Naturally.
And I've already relied on the school he's at now. I asked him, I said, look, I said, has he really changed, and changed his habits and changed everything about him? And they were like, yes, he's become more mature and he's grown up, and, guess what? Those are the kind of things that I'll listen to. And yes, I'll rely on colleges left and right because I've still got contacts at a lot of them,
Sure.
And, they're not going to lie to me because they know I'm going to come right back at them and say, look, I mean, we can't do this because, again, the NFL wants guys that are, I want to be told the truth so I can tell the NFL clubs the truth.
For sure.
Yeah, you want to be able to put your name on a guy who, is the right thing to do. Drew, I want to ask, I know that we talked a little bit about some changes you're going to make to the Senior Bowl week, and I know we're still a ways away, but it'll be here before we know it, as we know. Mardi Gras season, all the things in the 251 we look forward to. I know that you're going to make some adjustments that are going to economically boost the city of Mobile, that are going to and that's kind of like a secondary priority, because the priority is giving these guys a break, letting them come and enjoy the Gulf Coast simply by just adjusting the schedule. And then just by the collateral of that happening, these businesses are going to see these people more often in the evenings. Tell us a little bit about what changes are ahead and how exciting that is for the game, for the city, and for scouts, for teams, for guys that are coming here to Mobile.
Well, it started, and it really started about the player.
Yeah.
And when I told these guys, I said, look, I said, I've been here 18 years, did it, every single time. I interviewed everybody, blah, blah, blah. And when they started doing formal interviews at night, it was like 7 o'clock to 10:30, every flipping night. And I was beat up by the end of the day. And I said, I can't imagine how bad this is for the player. And and I talked to agents, and they were like, yeah, the players, don't like it. We can't get to our players in the evening, and they're rushed off the field because their schedule's so tight. And, and I said, well, heck, I said, why don't we just move the interviews to the morning, because we got a big block in the morning that's it's not unused, but we could push practice back a little bit.
Yep.
And accommodate all the interviews, push practice back. The second practice is going to end at 6 o'clock now, which gives the locals time to get out to practice with the kids, because they're out of school by then.
The best, yeah.
And maybe they get an hour and a half of practice they would have never got before.
Yep.
Right?
I love it.
And I want that.
Yep.
And then whatever program it is that night, we're going to rush them back right after the bus, and we're going to rush them back, get them fed, have their program for that evening, and then they're done. They're done.
I love it.
And the greatest part of it is now the agents won't complain because they can get to their client, right? The coaches that used to come down here will be more interested in coming down here now, because this used to be like an unofficial NFL coaches convention.
True.
Well, when they started the formal interviews, well, the coaches were in those all night too. Well, they couldn't hang out with their buddies. They couldn't network. They couldn't look for other jobs. Well, now they're free.
Yep.
And then the personnel in the NFL, well, now they're free too.
Yep.
And because again, the greatest thing, I was like, every single night I was in interviews. I said, I ate at the Battle House almost every flipping day.
Yep.
I went to Chick-fil-A. We went across the street.
Yep.
We went somewhere for lunch.
Right.
Like whether it's Dreamland or whatever. I went to 2 restaurants at night here, and we had to make up the interviews like on the field afterwards, because I went to Felix's one time with Jason Garrett, and we went to Ruth Chris with Jerry one time.
Yep.
One time. 2 times in 18 years.
Yep. Wow.
Actually had dinner with somebody. So it's like,
Yep.
well, now I think the local economy will get boosted
Without
more
question.
than people imagine. And I'm going to, visit with some of the committee members tonight and everything else. We're doing kind of a 300, deal tonight. And, hopefully, maybe the live music will stay open a little later during those Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursdays, maybe.
We can help make that happen. We can do a little media, we can do a little media push, make it happen, have a little party downtown. I'm good with it. Come on now.
And we're gonna push the local businesses. We're gonna put lists together for them within walking distance, within a mile, within 3 miles, whatever. I mean, we're gonna help the businesses get something out of this too,
Yeah.
because they never one of the owners told me that they had Wednesday night off last year, and he sold out every private room they had, NFL teams,
I bet.
and they only had one night off last
Right.
year. Well, now they're going to have 3 straight nights off.
Yep.
So hopefully everybody will see an uptick in business.
Yeah.
I hope.
And it's also there's not a trade-off in that, hey, less is being done. It's just being done
Yeah.
more efficiently and under a schedule in which is going to serve everybody. Drew, we appreciate it. Before we let you go, anything else that you want to add about the top 300 today, about what the season outlook looks for you guys? I know it's going to be really, really hectic. I know that you mentioned you're going to be kind of the overseer and going on campuses during the week, kind of evaluating talent as game film comes in, you and your cowboy clicker and all that there in the office. What does the next, few weeks look like? And then as we gear up for invite time.
Yeah, I'm gonna kind of push back for about a week or so just to get my bearings a little bit. Then
Yeah.
I'm gonna be back out. I'm gonna go to Alabama, Auburn. I've got a quarterback club up in Selma, and then in early October I'm gonna be down in Miami. I'll probably tie in Florida State and Florida off of that. But again, what I want to reiterate to people: this is not a list by position only. This is a list of the top 300 draftable prospects that we saw.
Yep.
I mean, I got text after text. Well, he's not on there. Well, he's not in the top 300.
Didn't matter
Right.
position,
So-
just pop best 300 guys.
Yep.
That's right.
Yep.
So again, if there was 6 quarterbacks in that list instead of 24, there would have been 6.
Yep.
Right.
That's why we did it. And again, we wanted to make it exclusive.
Yep.
And for one reason and one reason only. I told you guys this. I want 80% of this roster drafted every single year, regardless who stays or goes. That's what I want.
Yep.
And again, if I'm putting out 300 guys that I think are draftable, and we get 145 of them, then I hope I'm right. So that's what I'm shooting for. So that's really what I wanted to let you guys know and let the viewers know, because they don't get it. It's not a watch list.
Yep.
We got a watch list. We watch them all.
Yep.
So
love that.
understand that. Okay.
Yep. Good stuff.
stuff.
Drew Fabianich,
Really
the executive director of the Senior Bowl. Sincerely appreciate your time, as always, sir. And looking forward to the days ahead, the season, and then, Mardi Gras time and Senior Bowl time.
Yep.
Can't wait.
Invites are coming in November. Be ready.
Cannot wait. Cannot
Absolutely.
wait. Good stuff. The Panini Senior Bowl executive director, Drew Fabianich. Great insight, G.
Yeah.
This is a guy who knows ball, and this is a guy who trusts his process. And, man, top 300, I like it.
I do too, and what he really expressed that I thought was really good is that this is the top 300 draftable guys right now. So it kind of lets you know, kind of slates these guys for all of us mock draft nerds like myself.
No doubt. No
that
doubt.
it just kind of lets you know where the NFL slates these guys, and it's really interesting to see who will play themselves onto the official invite list there in November.
Yeah, amen to that. Good stuff, guys. Appreciate the patience as we had to delay the start of the show. Drew Fabianich, really good stuff from the Senior Bowl top 300. But coming up next, we are going to head to Spartanburg, check in with the Gamecocks and our girl Mariah Ross. What is going on with South Carolina? The latest on Southeast Sports Plus. That's next after the break. Stay with us. Welcome back in Southeast Sports Plus. Patrick Gerhard Simone joining you as we roll right along here in the first hour of our show. And just to pull back the curtain a little bit on the production of Southeast Sports Plus every single day, we're balancing a lot of hats here in Mobile, right? We're gearing up for high school football season, college football season, a lot of things. And so sometimes I don't figure out what's going on in the show sometimes until we're like sitting here in the chair. Generally have an idea of what's happening. And then I'm sitting here and I look down and I'm like, weird poop bag discussion. And I'm like, what did Patrick put in this show today? And so we're going to go to the expert, and that is our girl Mariah Ross in Spartanburg, to explain what is the weird poop bag discussion, and then we have some sound on that. So Mariah, set this up for us. What's going on?
Yeah, I feel weird being the expert in this situation, but it is what it is, So basically, at yesterday's press conference, Lenora Sellers was speaking with the media and talked about his relationship with new offensive coordinator Mike Shula. Shula was there last year as well, so they do already have a bond, but we learned about an interesting punishment that Shula likes to implement in his offense when it comes to, doing a wrong play or not running the play the way that he liked. And so Sellers, revealed something that Beamer said maybe should have stayed in-house, but a very interesting conversation ensued after that.
Okay, so would you like for us to play that soundbite and then we can kind of recap that? Is that the best way to go about this?
I think that's the best way to go about this.
Okay.
There's not...
No,
I don't know how deep in the conversation we
got a guy with a button. Patrick, hit it.
He has this cast of poop, and he's just you just took a dump right on my desk if I do something bad. So he just be like, if I do something bad, he just go get the dump off my desk, and he makes us put it on his desk. He's like, that's what you just did to me. So I mean, you do something bad, that's usually what he does.
So does he have a poop emoji thing that you actually put on your desk?
No, it's it looks like real poop. I wish I could go get it. It looks like you sit in your hand. It looks like poop. He's like, go get the dump off my office desk, and we hand it to him. He's like, he just throws it on his table. It's like, that's what you just did to me.
Okay, what was that we just heard?
A
bag of poop?
Yeah. You want to tell your quarterback you can't use a 4-letter word that we can't use here, but you're trying to tell your quarterback, hey, you were this today.
What? That is amazing. So, bag of poop, Mariah, I think that was not unexpected to say the least, but if I were in the press room, that's pretty great.
For sure. And I think there's a lot of questions that still need to add. There's some clarity we could get on.
Guys are weird. Honestly, women would never do this. It's a guy thing.
Right.
It's definitely.
Right.
I mean, Shane Beamer saying this should have stayed in house. What was his reaction to that?
He definitely tried to laugh it off and I think just brush past it as quickly as possible because, like you just said, it should have stayed in house in Beamer's opinion. But he's like, I hire these guys, I trust these coaches, and if that's the way that they want to roll, that's how they're going to do it. Shula is a hard-nosed guy, coached for a long time in the NFL, so it was something he picked up, I believe, when he was with the Giants, he said. And it was probably used a lot with the Giants. No offense. But that's where he got it from. And he's going to coach how he coaches, I guess. We'll see if it works out.
I love it.
I feel like he is completely different from his father, who's the greatest NFL coach of all time, and Don Shula, and coached that Dolphins team. What have you known of Mike? What have you seen of Mike? He was here in the state of Alabama. He coached at the University of Alabama, of course, and then he coached with the Carolina Panthers. He coached a former Auburn quarterback there as well.
The list of where he's been is very lengthy. I just pulled that up, takes up the entire
everywhere.
screen. Yeah, the wiki page there. But yeah, he definitely has a very his personality. What do you see on the field when he's coaching and things?
Yeah, like I said, he's definitely a hard-nosed guy. Definitely, not one that's laughing around and joking as much. I mean, maybe with the whole poop bag situation. I don't know.
So he's not a jokester, but here he is with a bag of poop. So there's that.
Right.
Yeah,
right. But yes, a very experienced coach, like you said, spent a long time with NFL teams, spent some time as a quarterback himself. So him and Sellers definitely have this close bond, and it's great to see.
I love it. It's close. I'd probably say too close.
Maybe a little extra close. Yeah, maybe a little extra close.
Let's talk some actual football here, Mariah, with just the way this team is preparing for a really important season opener against Virginia Tech. And this is a team in South Carolina that has a lot of high expectations. They come into the year as a top 15 squad. And I know that they're relying obviously on Lenora Sellers, but let's talk a little bit about that running back room and just some of the things that they're going to be able to help to bring to help balance out the pass game and the run game.
Well, I think the big question mark with the running back room is the guy that you're seeing right now, Rasul Faison, still waiting on the NCAA to say whether or not he's going to be eligible for this season. He's looking for a 7th year of eligibility. It would technically be his 4th year actually playing college football. So one would think that he would be granted that right, but we are still waiting. We got some news on a couple USC, UCLA players a couple days ago, and the ruling with that is kind of making people feel a little less than optimistic just because they were denied their eligibility. And so people are a little bit nervous that that could have the similar implications with Faison. But Shane Beamer is just moving forward as he's continued to move forward this whole offseason with the idea that they will have him. But he also said that, they're not going to just stick with one guy in that running back room. They have a lot of guys who can play, and whether or not Faison is eligible, all of those guys are going to touch the ball. So definitely have a deep room there. Beamer said that it is probably one of the best rooms that he's had, and versus last season where they only really had a couple of guys, he feels like the depth in this room is definitely going to help Sellers out and help him not have to run the ball so much himself.
No question. Defensively, this team obviously last year was just unbelievable. Kyle Kennard had the unbelievable season, and coming into this year, I feel like everybody's talking about what has left South Carolina, but I feel like there's a lot of players who are back this year. How has that defense really stacked up? It's hard watching against the offense because obviously they know what's coming for in a lot of parts. But how has this defense really taken that next step in order to get ready for Virginia Tech?
There is a ton of competition going on in practice, and it's really just fueling these guys and helping these guys get better. Like you said, a lot of guys are returning from last season. They do have playing experience, maybe not as much as the guys who left, but they're coming in with a deep group on a lot of situations. Jalen Kilgore, a guy last season who led the team with 5 picks, is coming back, and his brother, actually, his older brother, is a part of the squad now. He joined last season, didn't get as much playing time, but is hoping to up that playing time this season, and he had a great pick. All getting from each other is something that is really bonding this team and hopefully going to help them out as they get deeper into that SEC schedule.
No question. Before we let you go, every team does the transition from preparing and getting ourselves ready to game week. Have you had any inclination about the way that South Carolina is making that transition, when they will actually start? We talked to Hugh Freeze a couple of days ago. We talked to him on a Monday, but in his head it's already Tuesday because they're playing on a Friday in a couple of weeks. Have you got any insight about the way that Shane Beamer and his coaching staff will handle the transition from fall camp practices to game week?
Yeah, similar thing that Beamer actually said yesterday. This is Monday. To you guys, it's Tuesday, but get used to it. We're on a different time, so it's a different time zone now.
Yeah.
And they are definitely doing a mock game week this week just to get those younger and experienced guys prepared for what an actual game week looks like. And they've slowly started introducing some game planning when it comes to their Virginia Tech matchup. They'll start to increase how they introduce things as they continue through this week, and then definitely next week get into full game week mode and get prepared for week 1, that week 1 matchup in Atlanta.
All right, good stuff. Mariah Ross from our Spartanburg affiliate. Appreciate it, as always. Your great insight, even on the situation with Coach Shula. A little bit interesting, but gotta make it a little crazy on this Wednesday hump day on Southeast Sports Plus. So thank you, Mariah. Looking forward to next week, game week.
Yep, we'll see you soon. Thank you.
All right, thank you, ma'am. Good stuff from Mariah Ross. Bag of poop.
Multi-talented Mariah Ross says she could break down everything from the guys coming back defensively
bag of poop, and then you're like
bag of poop.
I know, honestly, there you go. You're right. There you go. She
very great.
She can say no, and I appreciate your time as always. We will keep it rolling here on Southeast Sports Plus. We're gonna take a quick break, and we will have more after we return. Stay with us. Well, welcome back in Southeast Sports Plus. Been a great start to the show on this Hump Day Wednesday. Talked to Drew Fabianich.
And everybody.
I mean,
has
I love it.
one
I
of
love it
these.
personally,
Yeah.
but I'm sure some people are like, hey, the percentages of the position are not right.
Right. And I think if you do like 15 offensive linemen and 15 quarterbacks, it does water it down a little bit. But I like this because at the end of the day, you're still going to bring the best guys.
Yeah.
But this also offers a lot more talking points as well because the NFL does a top 100. I think ESPN has done a top 100. The Senior Bowl is now a top 300. And so it also brings some motivation for guys who maybe weren't on the list to be able to get the official invites.
Yeah, and some of the guys who were on the list are also on this list. Going to bring in producer Patrick Walsh holding it down behind the scenes for us as he does every single day.
Yeah.
God, we're here every day.
Every day.
We're doing it every day, doing it live, guys. We are doing it live. Okay, Patrick, so we heard from Fabianich off the top, and some of the guys who were here on the All-SEC first team, All-SEC defensive team, at least if they are juniors or above, and then, of course, we would see them in the top 300 for the Senior Bowl. So there are a few guys that do fit in this category, beginning with, of course, the LSU quarterback.
Yeah, LSU 14 overall players on that top 300 and starting with their quarterback, Garrett Nussmeier, on that list. And he is the first team preseason pick by the SEC coaches.
Yes.
And
I always put more validation in this.
Me too.
Yes.
I mean, this is the reason why I think we wanted to really dive into it because the coaches have evaluated, and all 16 coaches at one point wanted Garrett Nussmeier.
Yeah, of course they did. Yeah.
One
That's such a
team
good
got
point.
them.
Yes.
You saw some of the other ones there in Le'Veon Moss out of Texas A&M, and he's a guy to me not many people are talking about.
Yeah.
But I think he is going to have an unbelievable season.
Yeah, if you had to trust me or you had to trust, Kalen DeBoer.
Yeah, exactly.
To tell you which person is more likely to be on the first team.
Right.
I mean, I feel like I can evaluate talent. I probably can't do it that well. Just saying.
Evaluating talent, I mean, obviously I have no experience doing it in real life. The only evaluating
from your couch.
my college football, 25, 26 game,
Exactly.
the Madden games back in the day. But
Yeah.
I mean, no, I gotta give Senior Bowl executive director Drew Fabianich a ton of credit because
it's hard.
Scouting's tough.
It is tough.
And your job's on the line every single day too.
Yeah, and that's why you have 20 people on your staff, and
Correct.
honestly, it's not a huge operation, so it's certainly something to give them a kudos to. Let's pull up that list again, Patrick, to see the first team offensive guys, the notables here. Ryan Williams, Cam Coleman, man, those are two guys that we talked about for a lot of years here in the state of Alabama, and they're still in states, of course. Ryan Williams at Alabama, Cam Coleman at Auburn. Cam was kind of that guy who he did some amazing things last year, but didn't really have an amazing guy to throw to him.
No, Peyton Thorne was a little bit of why he hampered a little bit. But to give a lot of credit to Cam Coleman, he had an opportunity to go elsewhere and leave Auburn. He did not. He ended up staying at Auburn. But Ryan and Cam both had unbelievable true freshman seasons. Keep in mind, they're true freshmen going into this year.
point.
So even if they do have an unbelievable season, they still can't go pro until another year after this. And then Eli Stowers. People are talking a lot about. We talked to Julian Minenson about Eli Stowers and just how good he can be. We just saw Brock Bowers on the AP All-American All-Time team. All-time team.
Yes.
And I think that there are people not necessarily making the comparisons between those two players individually as far as the way that they play, but just their impact and their domination on a game.
Sure.
Can Eli Stowers do the same thing with Diego Pavia as he does? I'm so excited to see from all these pass catchers, from Ryan, from Cam, and from Eli Stowers, just how solid they could be going into this year because I think their features are so bright.
Yeah, certainly looking forward to seeing what that looks like, and we'll find out in about 9 days when the full SEC slate will begin with the start of the college football season. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we'll look at the defensive side of the coaches poll and who they think are some of the best defenders in the conference this year. We'll take a quick break. We'll be right back. Back here on Southeast Sports Plus, Simone Gerhard-Patrick. Been a quick hour. We're going to wrap things up quick, looking at the all SEC first team defensive guys. Let's take a look at some of the notables. Gerhard, break it down who we're looking at here as far as the defensive ends and our defensive side of the defensive end of the ball, and what the coaches think of Carson Conference.
Yeah, I mean, this is a very, very talented group here. Yeah. Linebacker C.J. Allen, we saw him in Georgia at the SEC Media Days. Saw him in Athens last year. An unbelievable season. I expect him to have another good year. This entire secondary is just pure talent. KJ Bolden, Dylan Everett of Georgia, who was also at SEC Media Days. Michael Taff, who, of course, wore the tie for, representing the victims for the floods there in Texas. So not only a good player, but also a guy that's really conscientious off the field. And Jamal McCoy is a guy that both Sam Rothman and KCK have talked about coming out of Tennessee. An unbelievable season last year going into this year. And I expect a lot of good things from him as well. And so this SEC defenses this year, we talked to Ariel. She's really high on Alabama's defense. But all these defenses have players that are we saw on the 300 list and multi-talented guys overall.
Yeah, no question. I know that we we heard from Michael Taff. If we have that, let's take a listen to the Texas defensive star.
How are we going to handle success? So we obviously had a lot of success. We had the Thorpe Award winner in our back end. We had a second-round draft pick in our back end. Then we had a couple guys returning. So how are we going to handle success? If you want your name to be remembered, you got to keep going and keep doing more. It's different, right? It's a lot different. There's different speeds, there's different atmospheres, there's different weather. But I know in the SEC, what I can tell you about the SEC is you have to be physically prepared every single game. Your body has to be prepared every single game, and there's no game where you can take it lightly.
Right. So that's Michael Taff. We saw him at SEC Media Days. Of course, he's preparing for a huge game against the Ohio State Buckeyes, the number one team in the country. And it's good to hear from both Arch Manning, Sark, and him about just how this team is getting ready, understanding what they have lying ahead. And he's one of those weird guys where he played in both leagues, played in the Big 12 and played in the SEC as well.
Yeah, and I think you can tell that this is a guy. I mean, he played 43 games, 26 starts. He's a fifth year senior, and he sounds like it. He's got that type of leader on the defensive side. He sounds like he's gonna be a coach someday too.
No question.
If you're Steve Sarkisian, that is the type of message. That's the type of voice that you want to have in your locker room.
Absolutely.
No doubt about that.
Absolutely.
So. Good stuff there, Michael Tapp. Been a very quick as it always is. First hour, we'll have much more to come. Auburn overnight went from 2 national champions to 9-time national champs. We're going to discuss that in about 3.5 minutes. Stay with us.
Outbound transmission?
Affirmative.
Crew ready?
Check.
Signal lock?
Check.
Downstream stations online?
Link locked.
Let's light this candle.
Flame on.
In 3, 2, roll show open.
In our neck of the woods, sports is tradition. Sports is passion. Sports is family. Sports is fun. Welcome to our house. This is Southeast Sports Plus Live with Simone Eli and Gerhard Mathangani.
Welcome on in, everybody. Hour 2 of Southeast Sports Plus on this Hump Day Wednesday as we look forward to the start of college football season just around the corner. And when we do, the Auburn Tigers will be starting the year in Waco to play Baylor, and they will be the 9-time former national champion winners. Gerhard, what is going on the Plains?
They're claiming some championships that previously weren't claimed by themselves or by others. And so sorting out the details here, it depends on who you ask and who you talk to, because the thing is that pre-World War I, pre-World War II, there were a lot of different publications out there. Yeah. And if the grandma's cookbook named you a national champion, they would, say, okay, bullet, national champion. After a while, it got narrowed down to the Associated Press and a couple of other places, and so narrowed down the publications.
Yeah.
So depending on who you ask, Auburn is either adding 7 or adding 4, because 3 of them were already quietly named. So the place that I saw is Auburn's adding 4 because the 1957 and 2010 were already recognized. And then in the media book, quietly there in the fine print, they added 1913, 1983, and 1993.
So that was already there?
Those were already there in the media guide.
Because
but
here's
keep
the
in
deal.
mind,
If you look at Jordan Hare Stadium, there's 2 years up there. I've been there several times.
Yes,
they
57
have
and 10.
10 and 57.
Right.
Which, the world
recognizes,
as we know it, would also recognize.
Yes,
okay.
Those are the ones recognized. But then quietly, if you looked inside the media guide, you peeped in there. It said 1913, 1983, and 1993. For Auburn fans, you remember 1993, Auburn was on probation. So Auburn could not play for a national championship, but they went undefeated that season. So they're saying, okay, it's a national champion. So now they're putting the ones that were in quiet, they're putting those on blast. We won those 3 outright, not just in our media guide. And then they added 4 more. So that's how you get the 7.
Okay. So here's what I'm kind of wondering, and in full disclosure, Gerhard, you grew up an Auburn fan.
Correct.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So let's break this down, because your lifetime only existed of those 4 was in 2004.
Yes.
Take me back to the 2024 season.
Yeah, the 2024 season, or the
2004 season.
2004 season. That's the one. If you were with us on this show, we're here recently. We, Patrick and I, had a top 5 SEC teams of all time. 1 year, picked that team. Of course, 2019 LSU, 2020 Bama.
Yeah.
I made an argument for the 2004 Auburn Tigers. Now, they didn't win a national championship because they didn't have the ability to win a national championship, because only 2 teams went to the BCS national championship game. It was USC and Oklahoma. But if everybody remembers that game, like I do, Oklahoma got smashed in that game. 55-19 was the final score in that one. So that 2004 Auburn team won their bowl game, and they were undefeated. But if you remember that team, they were absolutely loaded. They had Jason Campbell as their starting quarterback.
Yes.
2 running backs that ended up being really good professional running backs in Cadillac Williams, who also served as the interim coach at Auburn for a little while, and Ronnie Brown, 2 first-round draft picks. That defense was absolutely sensational as well. There's never been a team ever that has won every single one of their regular season games, won the SEC championship, and not been able to at least play for the national title outside of 2004.
And that is true. And as we know, that type of argument in DC. He was the very esteemed head football coach over there on the Plains of the Auburn Tigers. And He has previously spoken about this, but let's talk about what he just said when this news came out. And so, Patrick, we're gonna listen to what Tommy said yesterday when somebody in Auburn woke up and said, "We are the national champions in 2004." And I want to hear from Coach Tubbs. What do you say?
Hello, Coach Tommy Tuberville here to celebrate the great news that we've been waiting for 21 years. I want to congratulate the 2004 Auburn Tigers football team on being recognized as the true national champions of college football of 2004. There is no doubt that the 2004 Auburn team was the best team in the country for the entire season. We went undefeated and had 4 wins over top 10 teams. Not only were our players great athletes, but they were great young men. They were unselfish, and they played for each other. Some players had opportunities to go to the NFL draft after the 2003 season, but returned for their senior year because they loved our team and they loved Auburn. And that's why we were so successful. I'm standing here in front of a painting that has some of our most iconic memories from that season. Now, this team is finally getting the recognition they deserve. So, War Eagle, and congratulations to all the players, coaches, parents, and our great fans who made this possible.
War Eagle.
Waited 21 years, and there's a small part of a kid that's sitting right next to you that has waited for the exact same amount of time for the Auburn Tigers to be the national champions.
21 years,
officially
and someone woke up and said, "You know what? It's time. We're taking this, and it's ours."
I knew when they added the 1993 title, when they couldn't even play for it because Auburn was on probation, that this was coming at some point. But let me just rattle off some more names for you here. Carlos Rogers ended up being a Pro Bowl defensive back. Jay Ratliff played on this team. Marcus McNeil and Ben Grubbs were two, one's a defensive lineman, one's an offensive lineman.
Yeah.
And the defensive coordinator for that team, Gene Chizik.
Well, there you go.
Who ended up winning.
Who then did win a national title. Of course,
yeah.
with Cam Newton in 2010. Okay. So nobody makes fun of Auburn more than Alabama fans.
That's true. That's true.
However.
Yeah.
They ain't been too loud.
No.
Because over there in T-Town, they've been done doing this.
Pop can't call the kettle black. That can't happen.
And wow, on cue here, our boy Patrick. Now that one that Nick Saban's holding, we'll call that one legit. However, Alabama claims, and they proudly put it on their helmet, which of course, if you know Alabama's logo, much to the unhappiness of anybody who buys the Alabama helmet, it changes every time they win a championship. And for a while there, under Coach Saban, that was like every year. So you had to buy a lot of helmets. Someone was getting the NIL money for that. Anyways, and so Alabama claims 18 national titles. It's been sitting there for a minute now, 5 years, which was a good minute. The NCAA says nope. That's not how many you get. So what, as an Auburn fan, of course, you're in the media now, but as a former diehard,
Sure.
you feel like the fandom for the Crimson Tide fans, they really can't be doing a lot of finger pointing here.
They cannot, and it's because this practice has been going on for a while. And I understand it to a certain degree. I kind of made fun of the whole cookbook publication, but it was kind of true. There was a lot of media applications, media people out there that had certain agendas, and they put different national champions. And Auburn and Alabama aren't the only ones that are taking advantage of this. I do feel like part of it feels a little gimmicky. Part of it also feels like, hey, let's understand where we are now is way more structured.
Yeah.
And just let everybody who wants to claim a national championship before the 1950s just be able to do so, because it was such a wild, wild west world out there anyways.
Yes.
So just go ahead and add 7 more to those.
How is it that in 1941, Alabama, who was 9-2 and finished 20th in the AP poll,
right,
but ranked number 1.
Yeah.
Wait, what?
Yes.
Tied with Minnesota in a single, much smaller poll, in whatever poll that was, the grandma poll, grandma cookbook poll. How are they claiming the one in 41?
Well, and that's another thing too, is because like there's teams who were ranked 20th, 25th, But they just decided we're a national champion. But also, do you remember 1941? Let's go back to 8th grade for a second.
I personally do not.
Something very important was happening in the 1940s, 1941, 1942. Well, yeah, it was called a World War. It was World War II. So, I mean, there was a lot of kids who were out there who were about that time.
Yeah.
They couldn't play because they were off defending the United States of America in war. And so
you make good points. You make good points. Very historic and accurate points.
I mean, to me, I'm just like, hey, if you want to claim them, just go ahead and claim them. It seems all silly, but hilarious.
Here's where I think the problem comes in for Auburn, is that Auburn didn't do this in 2025.
Right.
When Alabama had a sports info guy go, hey, we get 5 more, that was in 1980. So let's just talk about the difference between 1980 and 2025. 1980, I don't even think Facebook existed.
No,
social media certainly was not nearly what it is now. They didn't have a lot of talking heads like you and I to dissect this, and there's plenty of us out there.
Yeah.
And now in 2025, you try to do this thing, everyone's going, get out of here.
No.
And I would also like to know, is the next time we rolled into Jordan-Hare Stadium, maybe this information's already out there, are they going to go put all of these people, because here's the deal about Tommy.
Yeah.
Tommy's going to want to walk into Jordan-Hare Stadium and see 2004 and up on that wall.
No question.
So it better be up there. The Walk of Champions in Tuscaloosa has 41 in there.
Exactly. That 1941 title.
If you don't claim it, put your money on it.
And several others. And this comes at a good time because Tommy Tuberville's, obviously running for governor in the state of Alabama. So, I mean, he could walk right on in there and say, hey, let's change all these. We could dissect that
for the next hour and a half, too.
Exactly. Let's change all these. That way he can come out and say, and the reason why he was so excited is because he can now put on his tombstone or whatever, national champion, senator, and possibly governor if he wins that race a little bit later on.
He was very presidential out there in front of that pit team.
That's very true.
Okay, so a while back, our good friends over in Columbus at our affiliate WRBL, Jack Patterson, Rex Castillo, those guys put together a very, very cool just Auburn history. It was titled
Perfection on the Plains. A 20-year look back.
Yes, and it was very, very neat. It got a lot of great insight. I want to take a part of that segment that aired going into last season that obviously kind of double dips in what's happening in current day.
Yep.
That 2004 team is this. It is the reason that there became a BCS playoff. It's the reason that there's going to be a 12-team playoff in the future. Because no one, and I mean no one, ever thought that an undefeated SEC champion would ever be left out of the national championship picture. But that team was.
And in the history of the conference, not an SEC team's not ever been left out of opportunity to win a national championship if they're undefeated. And if they've been ranked most of the years.
When you see the playoffs that we have now, it's because they knew that was a travesty for us not to be playing in the national championship game. I mean, the talent that we had on the team, the way that we won, we beat really good teams, and we won a conference that's the hardest conference in all of football. If SC would have played in our conference, I could have easily seen 2 to 3 losses they would have had. And not just them, Oklahoma. Oklahoma's coming. So that being said, Oklahoma, they'll learn just like every other conference. When you come to the Southeastern Conference, it's not as easy as it was in the Big 10, the Big 12, or the Pac-12. And I say that full-throated because at the end of the day, I know how hard it is to play in that league.
As a competitor, if you step onto a field and you don't feel like you're going to win, then in my mind, your mentality is that of a loser. And so I guarantee you that my teammates, my brothers that were also suiting up with me that year would agree.
I mean, I think we were like to play USC during that time. I think Reggie Bush was on that team and having a phenomenal year. And we wanted payback because we played them some years previously and they beat us. And so I think we were being really fired up to really beat that team.
And that's a look at Perfection on the Plains. Our friends, as you mentioned, at WRBL put that together.
Awesome.
And it was a great 20-year look back. I know that they put that on a bunch of their platforms as well, so you can watch the entire piece. I think it's like 14 minutes. But they go back and interview players and coaches and different historic moments of that season, an undefeated season there in the SEC. And as an Auburn fan back then, of course, I'm in the media space now, and my allegiances have kind of faded away over time, and I just root for good storylines. I think that one of the biggest things about that Auburn team is that you just do the what-if game. Yeah. What if they played against USC? And you heard there in that piece that obviously USC that season, you can make an argument that was probably one of the best college football teams to ever grace the field. Matt Leinart, Reggie Bush, Lindell White. That team was just unbelievably stacked.
Mm-hmm.
If you were to ask the Auburn fan in me before I got into this business if Auburn could beat that USC team, because we're living in the world of hypotheticals, of course, yes. Of course, yes. Looking back 21 years later, I really don't know. I know they wouldn't have gotten beat 55-19 to a team that's now in the SEC in Oklahoma. But I don't know. That USC team was really, really good.
Garrett has a lot of great things to offer the world, and perspective is one of them. Because, man, you've got some perspective, and I respect that. Listen, the nine-time Auburn national champs. In fact, it's so confusing that different media outlets can't figure out if they've claimed 7 more or 4 more.
Exactly.
Because quite frankly, they had two on the stadium, and they added another 2 in the record book that nobody knew about.
And you know what the rivals from across the state will say? You added 7 titles, and you're still halfway to us.
True. All right. Much more to come here on Southeast Sports Plus. We are going to take a look around the league as we count down to kickoff. We'll have plenty ahead, including what is going on in Gainesville with Billy Napier and company. Plenty more over the next 45 minutes. Stay with us. Southeast Sports Plus returns after the break.
Yeah, it's been great. Been away from y'all. It's been good. It's been kind of clearing my head. But you know, I don't look at any of that stuff. I just play my game, have fun with the guys, and enjoy life. I mean, that doesn't mean anything. Being ranked before the season even starts doesn't mean anything. I don't even know how they get those opinions, but I feel like we do a good job of keeping the main thing, trying to get better every day and go win some games.
Arch Manning speaking for the first time since media days, and then cracking a joke right there, saying, yes, I've not had to deal with y'all lately. I've been able to get a little bit of a break. I love the confidence, the savvy from this guy.
Yeah.
It's pretty great.
Yeah, and the way that question started was, hey, we haven't been able to talk to you since then because the last time everybody saw him was at media days. And if you remember at media days, he couldn't turn anywhere without, somebody asking for an autograph or somebody, trying to get his attention, trying to do a one-on-one interview. It was just mass chaos. So I'm glad he's been able to decompress in the month or so, about 3-4 weeks since that day, and just focus on football.
Yeah, all I'm going to say is for a guy who's been, put in the spotlight because of many reasons, his talent, his name, right, the history of what that name means to football. For a guy to have this much, he seems like he has an incredible amount of composure. Yeah. And if I'm Steve Sarkisian, before we really break down all the things and why Arch Manning's in the headlines today, if I'm Steve Sarkisian, I'm like, I'm feeling pretty good that this is a guy that's in this spotlight who can handle this spotlight.
No question. And I think that he's had great role models, of course. I mean, his dad, Cooper, obviously wasn't, the talent that Peyton and Eli were. His dad had, obviously had an injury, but his uncles were Peyton Manning and Eli Manning, who both are Super Bowl champions, who both played at power schools. And I love the fact they all played at different schools. That Arch Manning played at Archie, the grandfather played at Ole Miss, and Eli played at Ole Miss. But Tennessee got Peyton Manning, and Texas got Arch Manning. So they're all kind of like they're carving out their own paths throughout this entire journey. But you're right. He's, to me, so composed, and he just says all the right things all the time. And he doesn't do it in a way that makes you feel like it's false. He said last year, going into the season, or this past couple weeks going into the season, hey, I don't know why I'm getting all of this. I haven't done much out here. We've talked to Roger Wallace a couple times ago. He's thrown 90 passes, all of them in the friendly confines of home. He hasn't thrown a pass on the road yet. So everybody's like, hey, they see the talent. They see his family lineage. But he wants to prove it, and the people around him want to prove it. He's just got a really balanced approach.
And he's going to get a really early, quick start in terms of when he gets to prove it, because he's going to go on the road to the Shoe in Columbus, Ohio, to take on the second-ranked Ohio State reigning national champions Buckeyes. Yeah. And Texas is the number 1 ranked team.
Yep. I mean, the promotion, the hype has already started for this for a very long time. Since the end of last year when Ohio State held up that national championship trophy, and they are now the team to beat. And now Texas comes in, and now they are the overwhelming number 1 team in the country in both the coaches poll and the AP poll. Both Sark and Arch have both kind of brushed it off, saying, we don't really pay that much attention to it. We talked to Roger, we talked to Noah, who are right there, boots in the ground there in Austin, Texas. And they both said, everybody's like, this is not a front. We don't really know. We don't really care. We don't pay that much attention. It doesn't affect the way that we go about things day to day.
Yeah, and we know the game. There's going to be a lot of hype around the game. There is already a lot of hype around his grandson will be back in Austin, Texas next year, meaning AKA he's not going to declare for the draft. Now, this is a guy who, if you look at draft boards, if you look at what the expectations are, preseason betting favorite to win the Heisman, I mean, all of the possibilities of what he can be next year in the league are there. And then Archie made some headlines when he said, he's going to be in that burnt orange.
I mean, there's so many people already, Simone, that are putting up draft boards that are saying, hey, X team is going to tank this NFL season to get Arch Manning. But then when Archie comes out, the grandfather, he comes out and says, oh, well, you know what? My grandson's staying at Texas. Everybody's like, whoa, where'd this come from? And I thought that, and you'll hear this in just a second, I thought that Arch had a really good response
let's take a listen to it. Let's take a listen.
Yeah, I don't know where he got that from. He texted me and apologized about that, but I'm really just taking it day by day right now. I think that's just who I am. I'm not a guy that seeks the media. No offense, guys. But it's really about the team, 11 guys on the field. So we're excited right now, and I'm just having fun. I dreamed of being in this position, so I'm not going to take it for granted. In the years past, I tried to prepare like I was a starter. Obviously, it's different when you're getting the 1 reps during practice, but just taking it day by day, trying to get a feel for my routine this week and go on next week and in the weeks forward. I think the coaches are always talking about the next play mentality, and you need that as a quarterback. If you throw a pick, you got to rebound the next drive, or if something doesn't go your way, it's a next play mentality. I don't know. Quinn did a really good job of that, and I learned a lot from him. Last year, he had a bunch of tip picks that weren't really his fault, and he rebounded like a pro. So I've definitely learned a lot from him there. It's a different mentality. It's us against the world when you're on the road, and I think the teams in the previous years, I think Quinn did a really good job on the road. He had a ridiculous record on the road, so learn from him and the teams last year to carry over for this year.
So, I mean, I think that he handles the future aspects. He said, now his grandfather Archie, he texted
Archie,
and apologized.
Hey there, young namesake. just 76 years old. Hey there, young namesake. Just want to say I'm sorry for speaking out of turn. You want to declare, you can declare, sir. Thank you, Grandpa.
Thanks, Gramps.
Thanks, Gramps. Thanks for putting me back in the headlines.
And as we learned from Noah, our good buddy Noah last week, Arch is short for Archibald. Archibald Charles.
And
Archibald
Archie's
Charles
name
Manning.
is
I think
Elisha. It's Elisha.
Oh, Elisha.
Elisha.
I think it's in the Bible.
Elisha. Oh.
Yeah. Because I think
Dang,
Eli.
gee, I'm on blast, like-
Eli Drinkwitz is
My last name's Eli.
He's Elias.
That means something. So, okay, whatever that is, Archibald Manning III.
Yep.
They've got a lot of
Unique
a lot of names. Yeah, a lot of names.
Really unique.
You know what
names,
I've noticed from that?
What's that?
A lot of things, but the Arch is a way cooler Peyton.
Wait, the Peyton that played or the Peyton that's in the insurance commercials? Because I feel like Peyton now he's hilarious.
Oh well, the Manning cast, whatever it is that they call that, is 10 out of 10.
Yes.
It really is. But I like Peyton that played. Although Peyton that played did have like a
robotic.
seriousness to him.
It's very robotic.
Yeah. So
yeah.
I mean Peyton's cool now, but I think that what's cool is that if there was a cool Peyton when he played, that's Arch.
Yeah. To me,
he has like a chillness.
Yeah, there is a chill to me, but he's almost a perfect blend of Peyton and Eli.
Yeah.
Peyton's talent, because Arch can, pray for health and everything else.
Sure.
Arch can go down as the best Manning as far as pure talent goes. And
Yeah.
grandfather was a great player running the football. Peyton and Eli, of course, throwing the football. And Arch has to win Super Bowls to even enter that conversation.
That's a good point.
But from a pure talent standpoint, I think that he's on board with Peyton, but I'm with you that he's got the looseness, the ease.
Good way to be.
Of a cool Peyton, but to me almost like Eli. But Eli was just he lived in New York, and you didn't hear a peep out of him. Like he was just a vault. But I think at a retirement, both those guys just always they just crack me up.
Yeah, and like I mentioned, we're going to find out quick what this looks like. We're not going to have to wait till week 3, wait until SEC play, wait to see what it looks like for the #1 Texas Longhorns under an Arch Manning, Steve Sarkisian, a great play caller, offensive mind, quarterback developer. It's not going to take long because they're going to be right there on August 30th. Early kick, like 11 a.m. Central, something like that.
Right.
As they play the second-ranked reigning champs, Ryan Days. And so, I know we have the latest there in Ohio State and on the Buckeyes. And, the more things change, the more they stay the same when it comes to the Buckeyes, because they've got some talent that is returning, and then they've got some guys who are kind of the newcomers of the world, like a Julian Sain, who, by the way, was, hanging out in Tuscaloosa for a second.
He certainly was, and then he got the call that Alabama head coach Nick Saban was retiring. Immediately got out of that situation there in Alabama, enrolled at Ohio State, and now he's there and is a California kid. I love this battle of quarterbacks between Arch Manning and Julian Sain, and you saw there some Ohio State practice. You mentioned some of the talent coming back. The guy that graces the cover with Ryan Williams on EA Sports 26 is Jeremiah Smith, and you can make an argument between Cam Coleman, Ryan Williams.
Dude.
Those two are great, but you can make an argument that Jeremiah Smith is the best receiver in the entire country.
I saw a video today on social media of Jeremiah Smith making an appearance at like a Dick's Sporting Goods or something like that.
Yeah.
And, this kid's like 19.
Yeah.
19 years old. It is lined up. Grown men, young kids, women, girls, doesn't matter. They are there to get their picture made with this guy. And we know that, of course, that was similar to Ryan Williams when Ryan came down here for his own camp and things like that. But this kid is a hero to folks already. And I think, it speaks to just how impressive college football is, the impact that it has on communities' lives, things like that.
Yeah.
But just think about the amount of talent that's going to be on this field.
Right.
That's going to be on this field at the shoe. And I cannot wait. For us, and what a treat. What a treat for fans of college football to be able to enjoy something so early that's going to be so great as a #1 Texas against a #2 Ohio State. Ryan Day, it's going to be all the Ryan Day that he is, making everybody just sitting there, I can't imagine being in the locker room with Ryan Day right now, how angry he is, and how fake angry, maybe real angry, and yelling about not being the reigning champs coming back and being number one.
Right.
And not just by one poll not saying they're number one, but several
Yeah.
polls. Heck, one poll had them at 3.
Yeah, yeah. To me, this is a.
They said, you're not number one in your own league.
Yeah. What I love about this is think about Texas's last game last year, and there hasn't been a lot made of this. Texas's last game last year was to Ohio State. Who won that game in the semifinals? Ohio State on the way to the national championship. And then they open with one another, and both guys have reasons to have motivation for their team. Because the Ohio State coach can say, we beat these guys the last time they saw Texas play, and they still have us as the underdog in this match.
I know what I'm saying.
I mean, there's storylines galore, and then on top of that with the quarterback situation, but you mentioned it. The NFL season really doesn't get underway until September. The first NFL game will be in Columbus, Ohio.
Yep.
That stadium will be packed full of NFL stars everywhere. The future of the NFL will be right there in Ohio.
The one thing I'll say is that Julian Sayin this is a guy who we haven't really seen on this level, right? What's he going to be? We don't know yet.
Yeah.
But if Ryan Day and the Buckeyes and the pieces around Will Howard can win a national title,
right?
They can win with Julian Sayin.
Yes, they can. They can.
This there's a reason everyone in America wanted this, including Steve Sarkisian.
Yep. 5-star, and he initially missed out on him because Nick Saban got him.
Yeah,
and right beforehand. So this is to me a prove-it game for so many reasons, individually and from a team perspective, in these matchups. But then we also talk about the wide receivers and think about that Texas defense. How many guys were on that Texas defense that were on the preseason All-SEC team, that were on the top 100, that were on the AP preseason team as well? How will Julian Sayin do against that defense with players from everywhere? And we just heard from Michael Taft earlier. And I can't wait for this matchup for so many reasons. And
it's our college football too. Hanging out with High Noon, something like that. But before we go to break, and we have a great interview coming up. I know we heard from Ryan Day talking about his new QB1. Let's take a listen on what he had to say about Julian Sayin.
My responsibilities to the Buckeyes, my responsibilities to this team, and making sure that we're ready to play in 12 days. And that's where we're going to keep the focus. That being said, Julian Sayin will be the starting quarterback against Texas. It was a close competition. I think both guys, we all feel confident, can win a game for us. I think Julian separated himself really over the last week with his consistent play. I feel like our guys are confident again with both quarterbacks. I think we'll need both quarterbacks. Lincoln did a lot of great things, but we're going to name Julian the starter here, give him the majority of the reps with the ones, and go prepare to beat Texas.
So Ryan Day taking a very systematic, stoic approach, just like a lot of other places. Had a quarterback battle, and Julian Sayin is the guy that will replace Will Howard, I should say, and try to lead him to a back-to-back national championships.
All right, good stuff. Plenty more coming up next. We're going to Ireland. We are going to Ireland, from Mobile, Alabama to Ireland. We are going to talk about the start of the college football season that will actually happen here in a couple days. And boots on the ground, our girl Lauren Tinkler, she is there in Ireland. She's going to join us next on Southeast Sports Plus to give us a breakdown of this game, her role on what is going on there in Ireland. Going to Ireland. That's next. Stay with us. Welcome back in Southeast Sports Plus, Simone and Gerhard. We are going global. So yesterday on the show, we talked a little bit about the start of the college football season, which of course will begin in Ireland with a game there. It doesn't have SEC teams in it, but still, let's start a college football season. And then Gerhard had a wonderful idea, and it's now blossomed into this amazing thing we want to give you. So let's talk about yesterday's discussion.
Yeah, well, one of our discussions was about this Ireland game, and obviously Iowa State and Kansas State are the main feature of this game. But what I was thinking of was a conversation that I had with one of our former WKRG interns and former South Alabama track star, Lauren Tinkler, and she's back.
Yes!
She is back.
You are so cute. I love you. I miss you. How is life?
Miss you guys. Oh, it's been great. Thanks. Like, it's great to be home. But I seriously miss Mobile. I miss Alabama. I miss the fun. I miss America. I miss you guys. But no, it's great to be home. Great to see family and all of that. So yeah.
Yeah, Lauren, of course, when you were here as an intern, like Gerhard alluded to for us, one, you did a fabulous job.
Yep.
Also, you were running for South Alabama, so that's how we ended up being able to recruit you over here with us. But you're from Dublin, Ireland. Is that right? And so you're there, and now you're in a sports reporter role, and you're going to be a huge part of what this week looks like. Not only part of the college game, but the high school games on Friday that lead into that. Peel back the curtain a little bit on what it is that you're going to be doing, and we're just so proud of you.
Oh, well, thank you so much, and it's great to get to chat to you about it because it is so exciting, and just to have American football coming to, like, my hometown, it's amazing to relive it because, of course, that is actually the stadium it's going to be in, the Aviva, and there's me with Mitch from Global Ireland Football Tournament last year,
Look at her go.
Which was at the college game. And yeah, so it's just amazing to relive it all because, of course, my first insight into a college game was at the Hancock Whitney Stadium in Mobile. So just to see it here again, relive it with people from home is absolutely amazing. And of course, to kick it all off, we'll have the gift tournament, which is happening in Dublin as well, but it's the night before the college game. So we're going to have some schools coming over from America. They're got the NFL Academy from the UK. There's just, like we were talking about, the IMG Academy. They're over here. We've got some Irish teams that are playing American football to play then American teams, which is so cool for these young kids. You know, some of them are under the age of 19. So it's amazing to see some high quality football from such young kids. And then, you know, the finale is the college game on Saturday.
Yeah, and it's obviously been a really interesting time over there in the NFL as it goes to Europe, and now college football. And as you mentioned, the high school football, some of the teams that will be playing from the high school games is Mechley High School, play Wyndham High School. As you mentioned, IMG Academy, a great school out of the university, out of Florida, will play Episcopal School of Dallas. And AFI Junior Wolfhounds will play Great Britain. That leads into my next question about how big is football growing there in your time there in Ireland and what you see now where American teams and teams over there from Europe playing this great game?
Yeah, completely. Like, when I came back from the States, I could not believe the interest and the hype that there is in Ireland about American football. You know, now we're broadcasting it here, like Irish channels are now broadcasting it. So, you know, people can actually watch it live, which is amazing. You do have to stay up a little bit late just for the time difference, but you know, it's incredible. And you know, there's players here that would play our national sport, which is GAA football, and they're now being recruited by the NFL. Like Charlie Smith, you know, he's now playing for the New Orleans Saints, which is just amazing. Like, you can see how it's growing, and then we're seeing players from Ireland, the skills of kicking translate into football, so now they're being recruited to the NFL. So there's just so many different aspects that it's growing. And yeah, just the fans, like, I was not only in Dublin is it growing, but I was over in Kerry yesterday and today, and the place is just, there are American fans everywhere. So funny seeing Iowa State, Kansas State t-shirts walking around a small town in Ireland. Like, it's just, it's so surreal, which is amazing.
Lauren, peel back the curtain for us a little bit when it comes to the fans there in Ireland. So I know there's fans that have traveled over there, of course, for the college game, but the natives, the folks who live there, how excited are they for this game to come over there? Because I think one thing is that we kind of take this for granted, right? I mean, college football and the NFL is just something that we just are used to. It's just something that's there. It happens like Christmas once a year. The season starts. We have games, and sometimes we're exhausted because of the start of the season. But this seems like for you guys, and just your excitement tells me that there is a genuine just thrill for the folks there in Ireland about college football coming over and being played there.
Yeah, like it is huge. I can't even believe it. Like the interest and people that talk about it to me that I wouldn't even have expected, like there's such a love for sport here. And I think that's maybe just what it is. Like we're a country that really just gets behind sports. And then to have such a new sport come in, it's exciting, it's different. And yeah, I think people have been loving it from across the seas, but now to have it in Ireland is amazing. I know that we've got like the NFL game happening here every year, which is amazing as well. So now we've got the college, we've got NFL coming. It's just, it's seriously like growing, and it's very exciting.
I love it.
I know Ireland is not the biggest country in the world. What does this do for the local economy there, and how have you seen that grow? Whether it's different bars and pubs that have been open, or just people who are buying stuff off the shelves. From your time there as a resident, now covering not only a game but a game in your city, how well does this do for the economy there in Ireland?
Yeah, between hotels, flights, people going to bars, like you said, because everybody's got to have a pint of Guinness while they're here.
I'm sad it's not, you don't have it on the show right now. It's like 10:30 there. It's like 10:45. Isn't it late too?
Exactly. So, I'm sure there are a few Guinness deep at this stage. But yeah, like it's actually going to bring this game alone is going to bring in 130 million euro to Ireland.
Wow.
Just like in the past probably 7 days.
Wow.
So it does a lot for the economy. So it's a really incredible thing for the country.
Lauren, I just you interned with us, and I'm just wondering when you're going to start taking intern applicants, because Gerhard and I would like to come to Ireland.
For the Guinness and others.
We would like for you to repay this.
Swap places.
Listen,
I'll cover you, and then you can cover me over here, Simone.
That's what I'm saying. Exactly. That's what we need. No question. Lauren, man, we are just so proud of you. We're so grateful for your time. Again, tell us a little bit about what your role is going to be on Friday, on Saturday, just kind of what it is that you get to do there as a part of this program that's happening in Ireland when it comes to just football being played there.
Yeah, well, I'm going to do my best to just cover it and bring as much exposure to it as possible to the Irish fans, and just create the word and bring a lot of hype around it. I'll be at the pep rally for the high school games tomorrow, which is happening in Dublin in Marion Square. So that's amazing for Irish people to even see a pep rally and, like the tailgating and all of that. So I'll be there covering that, and then I'll be doing sideline interviews on Friday at the high school games. Cool. Hopefully get to chat to a few players and see what it's been like traveling over to Ireland, because this will probably be a lot of the players' first time even leaving the country, leaving America. So that's super cool to just see their insights, maybe chat to their parents. And then on Saturday, I will be covering the college game then on behalf of Gift, because it's great. We're going to bring the high school players. They're going to get to go onto the field at the end of the third quarter and just get a little bit of recognition in front of a huge crowd, which is really special as well.
That's really cool.
Yeah, you're a top athlete as well. I know you're a phenomenal reporter right now, but you were a great athlete there at South Alabama. Do you still get a chance to get out and run and talk about just your time with the Jags and being able to be here in the States and with that awesome athletic program?
Yeah, I miss competing for South Alabama so much. I miss my coach, I miss the team, but it was just so amazing. It's the best experience. Best thing I ever did was get to come and run for South Alabama. It's years I'll cherish forever. Aww. I'll cherish being an intern with you guys forever as well. You guys taught me so much, and I'm still training. The next race that I'll be prepping for is the European cross country, so hopefully I'll qualify to compete for Ireland, which would be amazing to get my Ireland vest again. And yeah, so I'll be gearing up for that. That's cross country, so it'll be in the cold and the mud in Ireland. So yeah, not too glamorous like the golf courses I got to compete on in Alabama, but yeah.
No doubt. No doubt. A little bit nice weather
Yeah.
here. Yeah.
Lauren, I am Irish myself. I know.
Hey, Patrick.
I know Simone said something about trying to go over there. My roots are from Cork, Ireland, so if you've got a third opening, I would love to come along with
Okay, a minute ago, Patrick's like doing one of these, like, hey, I want in on this. It's because he's trying to steal our internship opportunities here with you, Lauren. Dang it.
I love it. Patrick, I'll be in touch.
Oh, yes, thank you.
Yes. Listen, you know what? I love it. I love it. Maybe Guinness will have
Especially
an
if you're
opening
from
for their
Cork.
Yes.
That's what I would want.
That's awesome. Lauren, first of all, before you go, last one. Jay's up. Gotta give you that.
Jay's up.
Gotta give you a Jay's up. We're so proud of you, and we cannot wait. We'll definitely be checking in with you next week whenever you have time to come back on the show and to give us a full recap, pictures. I know you're going to be, it's well documented. You're great on social media. So we want to get a full recap on what your experience is like next week after the start of the college football season.
I would love that. Thank you so much, guys, for having me. Go Jags, and can't wait to chat to you guys soon.
You are awesome.
That was amazing.
Lauren Tinkler, our sports reporter from Ireland, former WKRG intern, former South Alabama running great, and what an amazing personality and so much fun.
Yeah, she was, and she was when she was here, and we got a chance to talk about, just how much she got indoctrinated into football.
Yeah.
And she was with us during the Senior Bowl at one point.
Yes,
and
we did stand-ups and everything at practice.
Exactly,
Yes,
exactly. So, and to see her now covering football in her home country
Cool.
to kick off the college football season, it's an excellent full circle moment.
Southeast Sports Plus has gone global.
Yeah, we have.
Love it. Gerhard, got to give you credit on that one, man. That was a really, really, really cool idea.
It was fun to catch up.
Just appreciate her time for sure, guys. We will wrap things up here on Southeast Sports Plus. We're going to take a quick break. We'll have more here in just about 2.5 minutes. Stay with us. Southeastern Conference footprint next to our nation. SGP joining you as we sit here and debate whether there is a coach in college football who is not going to have a shower after next week's college football kickoff. And for more insight on that, I introduce you to Patrick Walsh.
Yeah, so yesterday we talked a little bit about Fran Brown, and I made a comment about the SEC not really knowing him. Well, my fault. I forgot he was at Georgia before he went to Syracuse, but he enters year 2. And Simone, you really love that comment.
I don't know if I loved it or if I still am getting kind of the heebie-jeebies about the whole situation. Winners get washed.
Yeah.
Winners get washed. You can only take a shower after you win. Thankfully for him and his wife and his family, they won the last 4 games of the season, including their bowl game.
So he's not breaking out or anything. So and they won the bowl game. So it's not like he hasn't showered in a year.
Right. But with the Syracuse team, I think there's a lot of interesting pieces because as you know, they got a quarterback that was on a team that played for the national championship. They got Steve Angeli, or as Simone's father likes to call him, Peanut Butter Angeli.
My dad, for the record, my dad is going to love that you just gave him a shout out because I am not kidding when he says peanut butter and jelly, PB&J, and he would not stop with that.
It's the greatest nickname I've heard.
Nobody says this, but now everyone says it.
It's the greatest nickname I've heard. He came in a bunch of times when a few times when Riley Leonard got injured, and here he is as the backup. He was the backup at Notre Dame, and now he's a starting quarterback, replacing Kyle McCord, who's now in the NFL. I don't think that he will be. To me, he will not be bright-eyed and all is like starry-eyed when they go to Mercedes-Benz to face Tennessee, because he's played in some of the biggest stages ever.
He's played in front of Artie Live, and that's a big stage because I had to do it.
That's exactly right.
And so I'm just telling you, that's a big stage.
He made Art Eli happy, right?
He did. My dad was devastated when Peanut Butter and Jelly decided he was going to go and leave the Irish program. And as a season ticket holder, it's been a long time, and he wanted PB&J to be the guy. So, anyway.
And looking at this game against Tennessee fans might remember in basketball they kind of dog walked the Syracuse Orange in the ACC SEC Challenge last year. But I think Steve Angeli being quarterback #1 for Syracuse, he really like Kyle McCord. He's not mobile. He's going to throw a lot. And Syracuse retaining offensive coordinator Jeff Nixon, there was thought around the Syracuse program that he might go to the NFL. Fran Brown thankfully has him back. So expect him to be able to develop Angeli. And I've been saying this since day one. I'm going to stick to my roots. I'm a Syracuse guy at heart.
Yeah.
But I really think there's a chance for Syracuse to,
win that game.
Well, there's a chance they got to play it. So we'll see. We'll see if Angeli and company can get it done, guys. That's all for SCS Plus. We will see you tomorrow.